starts here. Well, gentlemen, the comments are already exploding. We are so excited. I mean, some of us showed up appropriately dressed and in the right mindset for this. You know, some of us may have just pulled a sweatshirt out of the dirty clothes hamper bin. I don't know, but some of us showed up in the right frame of mind to take care of business and do this great league the justice it deserves. At least some of us did. I can't speak for everybody here.
Well, here's what I'll say to that. If that were the case, then I would assume you would be wearing a suit. You'd have like a pencil on your ear for all the spreadsheet, accounting, mathematical equations you have done to try to convince Max and I of certain guys being on certain teams on our SEC basketball season awards. But Max and I, we had to put our foot down. We had to say, Chris, calm down a bit. Okay? Calm down with the data. Calm down with the numbers. Calm down with the cult of computers. Let's get to business on the actual basketball awards. You know, basketball is what we're playing here. So,
but I don't wear a suit. I got a tux for this. I mean, look.
Max and I dress for the occasion. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I had my tux, but I spilled some of my Diet Coke here on it just 5 minutes ago. So we had to go to a backup option. They're already getting. We haven't even started.
If you're new to the channel, Chris wore this for some. We did SEC football awards, I think, last season. Chris wore this for it. So
I break this out twice a year. I might have to do 3 times for baseball this year. So
yeah. So all right. So here's what we're gonna do, guys. Hop in. We know we'll have quite a few of you. So hop in, and we are going to give you our team awards. Let me just tell you up front. We debated these. A lot of hours in the war room today. It's like an NFL draft is what this was, basically. We spent a lot of hours going over these, and these are kind of our consensus choices, but we will weigh in on each team and tell you if we had a certain guy higher, a certain guy lower, all that. We have first team, second team, third team, all defense, all freshmen. Max has got a couple special awards he's going to give out. I have a couple special awards I'm going to give out. We'll do our individual awards, Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, Most Underrated Player. So, without further ado, let's just jump right in. Let's get to this thing, okay?
Let's do it.
We're going to count down to the first team, correct? Do you want to start with the 3 teams, or do you want to start with freshman and defense?
I'll let that be your call.
I was going to say we start third team.
All right, We're going to start with the third team.
Let's start third team.
Now, keep in mind, we decided to take the coward's way out, and we decided to put 7 guys on each of these teams. I know basketball is only played with 5. We're aware, but we got into it, and we're like, you know what? We have to expand this thing, because listen, if there's a reason I think we should get, we're allowed to do this. We watch more SEC basketball than 99.9% of Earth. So we love so many players, we want to see them credited for this. All right? So let's just make that clear. All right, third team, all SEC. Get ready to just go nuts. Max, Chris, you're the host. You read off our third team.
Yeah, give them one.
For the listeners, we've got Missouri point guard Sean East, South Carolina point guard Meechie Johnson, Kentucky combo guard, shooting guard, I guess, Rob Dillingham. This is a very guard-heavy team. Tyrese Radford of Texas A&M, Josh Hubbard of Mississippi State, Matt Murrell of Ole Miss, and Tyrese Samuel, our lone big man, on the 7-man third team, which that was a fun exercise. The whole how much time we spent on how many teams are we going to do, how many men are they going to have. That was just riveting. But I think probably one of the tougher ones was Sean East. We debated a couple of guys, but and when your team goes 0-18, look, the most important stat in basketball or in any sport is winning. And I know Sean East's team, they didn't win any games in the league, but man, he played well and he was efficient and he had very little help. And so I think we all would have felt bad if he was not on the team. I mean, some of these guys, Tyrese Radford was another guy we debated on. Wasn't super efficient, but A&M had 2 pretty good guards who had a high volume of shots, and that was a team that showed up and did beat some teams. Josh Hubbard, a solid pick. Matt Murrell, a guy, Ole Miss kind of face planted late in the game, but he played so many minutes and did so many things. Tyree Samuel, a guy that we probably could have argued up a team. And yeah, I think we hit everybody kind of briefly, other than Dillingham, who didn't play as many minutes as some guys on this list, but man, he could just take over a game at times. And I think that would have been, I mean, that's something that matters. So I think we had a little bit of debate, but I think it's fair to say we didn't have too much trouble settling on a third team.
Yeah, well, if you guys watched any of our fantasy basketball videos this year and how much we bicker back and forth, we spent way too much time on these teams. But I am satisfied with this third team. I was a big advocate for Sean East and Tyrese Radford. Listen, guys, Tyrese Radford might have had one of the quieter, really, really productive seasons. We talked on end about the Texas A&M guards, and it was always Wade Taylor that leads that conversation. But man, you guys look at Tyrese Radford's past 6 weeks of basketball. He's putting up some quality numbers. So glad we got him in there. And then my guy, Josh Hubbard. I could have put him higher. I love this kid. I have more awards for him coming. But yeah, Chris, I think you kind of just ran through it well, but I'm glad we got Sean East up on there because tough year for Mizzou, but he really played well.
Yeah, I mean, as you're going to see as we get to the second and first teams, it's like I gave Chris, crap the other day for like, hey, Chris was trying to give us like 8 all-SEC teams. And I'm like, Chris, come on, we can't do 8 all-SEC teams. But he's right in that there are so many players that they're just this close together, and it's really hard to separate. So, yeah. So, I mean, I don't have any issues with this. We will say we're not going to – and someone just asked a question. I know that Jason just asked the question in the comments. Who are the last two for each 7-man team? We will guard this with our lives. We will not tell you. The last
Good
two
answer.
were. Let me just tell you, though, the reason we expanded to 7 teams is because of one guy you're seeing on the third team here. And I'll let you guys figure out and decide which one you think that is. But we specifically expanded the third team and all the other teams to 7 to make sure we got one more guy on our third team because we thought it would be a snub if we left him off. So we had to. And by the way, I know people are like 7-man teams and all that. Here's our justification, okay? How many SEC teams have 5 players? None, right? I mean, they all have more than 5 players. So we're going to say we need a couple bench guys in case we get in foul trouble. It's the SEC. A lot of fouls are called. A lot of free throws. So, yeah. But anyways. All right. Third team. We're happy with this one. We're going to do reaction, your guys' comments in a second. So, yeah. Here we go. I know, Max. We'll pick up the pace. Second team. Chris,
second team. Wade Taylor the fourth of Texas A&M, the guy that when they had nobody else who could score and the shot clock was running down and he had 3 men on him, could still bank in shots. Efficiencies weren't great, but my goodness, I think he not preseason SEC Player of the Year. I believe he was.
Yep.
So just a weird year for A&M, but when Wade Taylor the fourth is on the floor, you've got to respect his game. Walter Clayton Jr., a guy that I think maybe got a little fringe first team consideration because Zakai Zeigler, a guy that I think not a stat sheet stuffer, but the defense, and he's just the engine that when Dalton Knecht isn't making the Vols run, he's probably the guy. Talon Cooper just had a phenomenal year. Didn't score a ton, but it was so clutch, didn't turn the ball over. We talked about how Carolina's guards just controlled so much of the game this year. So smooth, such a really good player. He had to be on the second team. Aaron Estrada, that's when we went to war over. And I think the more we talked, the more I got talked into it. And I think you guys had the right take. I think I had underrated him a little bit, so I have no issue with him being on this team. Tremont Mark, Arkansas didn't have a lot of success, but he was a guy until late in the season when it became Khalif Battle, carried that team. Jalen Williams at Auburn, one of the more efficient, well-rounded players in the league. His shooting efficiency was tremendous, did a lot of stuff. Probably had an argument for first team if he'd played a little bit more, and that's the case for a lot of Auburn's guys. They split minutes, and we do look at minutes when we're making the team because the more you're on the floor, the more valuable you generally are, except in a case where there's a lot of mouths to feed situation like Auburn's got. And then our asterisk, because we do look at minutes, and Tolu Smith played under 500 minutes for the year. Now, I think all those minutes were in the league. And so it's kind of hard to, it's hard to give credit to a guy for stuff he didn't do guy. But at the same time, Tolu Smith had been healthy. He would have ripped apart the non-conference schedule, I think, as we know. He was a preseason first-team All-SEC guy, put up really good numbers in the conference season. And so I think, and we did this last year with Liam Robbins. He got hurt, missed some time, and we said, hey, look, based on minutes, he doesn't deserve maybe to be on the team that he's on in terms of, I think we picked him first team, but if he'd been healthier, he'd have been there. So we kind of created an asterisk situation with Tolu Smith.
Yeah, if you look at Tolu's numbers just from conference play, man, he's averaging over 16 and 8. He's putting up great numbers, and quietly also. So I'm glad we got Tolu in there, even though we didn't really have a non-conference. And that goes to show, he just got thrown into the SEC regular season. He did not have much of a – he had one game, I think it was, one game to get ready for the SEC regular season, and then goes in and puts up 16 and 8. So Tolu had a really good season that wasn't highlighted much this year, I guess you could say. But guys like Zeigler, Taylor, those are guys that we kind of, predicted to have really good years. But look at this second team, guys. Walter Clayton Jr., transfer. DeLon Cooper, transfer. Aaron Estrada, transfer. Tremont Mark, transfer. I mean, not all of them are going to hit. But, man, the league did really well for themselves here in the transfer portal. Half the second team is in their first year with the league.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to add. Again, guys, we are going to get to your reaction / super chats. Make sure you get those in. We got 400 plus people in here. Only way we'll probably see your comments for a super chat, but we will react to your thoughts after we unveil all the teams. But we're just going to quickly give our thoughts. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to add. I mean, you guys kind of said it. These are all good choices. Again, could we have advocated for a couple of the guys on the third team to be on the second team? Sure. Could we advocated for a couple of the second team guys to be on the first team? Sure. So, yeah, there's no doubt. So, yeah, we did go to bat for Aaron Estrada. You're right, Chris. We were all in on Estrada. Just because I think the more you look at his numbers, you can just see kind of just how valuable he was to Alabama. And Tremont Mark was the one I didn't think we would forget about, but, I'm just kind of like, I mean, he had to be on there. I know Arkansas struggled and all that, but he just had to be on the list. So, all right. Well, we'll talk more about this in the reactions in a minute. But are you ready for the Southeastern 14 SEC basketball 23-24 season? The first team, all SEC, which I can't imagine there is too much unpredictability with. I mean, I thought we were pretty – I don't even know. Do we have much of a debate on the first team? I think that was the easiest choice we made, really.
No.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. Third team was probably the hardest. Third team was
definitely the hardest.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. First team.
Your Southeastern 14, first team All SEC, in no particular order. Alabama point guard Mark Sears. Phenomenal. Best point guard in the league. Well, I say that. Zyon Pullin had an argument too, but I think it was Sears. Both tremendous point guards. Pullin had an assist-to-turnover ratio of almost 4.5, which is just crazy.
Unreal.
Sears was a volume scorer who scored with remarkable efficiency. No-brainer selections. Antonio Reeves, if you're going to go 7, has to be on there. Reed Sheppard, not a guy that put up scoring numbers, but my goodness, that kid did everything.
Yeah.
And you saw his value to the team yesterday when Kentucky needed baskets to pull off an upset in the food fight. He was the guy who got the ball. Dalton Knecht, I mean, of course, that's the most predictable selection here. Jonas Aidoo, a guy who did a lot for the league champions, and Johni Broome. I mean, this guy was so good on both ends of the floor.
Chris, hold on. Before we go further, can we explain the Colin Murray-Boyles exception, please? You do a better job at this than we do. You're the spreadsheet man. You've got all the numbers.
Missed so much time.
Yeah,
you will hear from him later. You will. I think if we just done a conference season, and I know we made an exception with Tolu Smith, but he had played so much ball in this league and established a level to play. So if you want to call us out and say inconsistent, okay, fine. You might be right.
I don't think that is fine, because look, we can put him on the teams, but it is kind of a matter of what you said. Like, if the SEC does it, great. Like, but I think we are looking at it from game 1 to game 31 or 32, whatever. And that's the only reason. Like, come on, guys. If you're a South Carolina fan and you've watched our channel, you know we've talked about. I mean, Max. I'm pretty sure Max will call me at like 4 a.m, and the only thing I hear from him before he hangs up, he goes, "CMB, CMB," and the guy just hangs up. So, I mean,
I've got an award for him later.
You do.
Well, and look, you hear about guys hitting the freshman wall all the time in this league, and he had. I mean, I guess maybe not. He had mono. Was that what it was?
It was mono. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that he did need some time to look. I think if you want to say when he was on the floor minute per minute, was he one of the top 20 players in this league? Absolutely, he was. But we took work volume into consideration too. So if you want to knock us for that, fine. I absolutely understand. But that's just kind of where we had to make some decisions.
Yeah.
Max, thoughts?
Just my real quick. I wanted to mention the assist to turnover ratio of Zyon Pullin. I know you touched on it, Chris, but guys, he has the best assist to turnover ratio of every point guard in the Power 6. There's like 1 or 2 point guards at like some low majors that have like a decimal on them. I mean, what he's doing protecting the ball for Florida is incredible. And then also, I want to touch on Jonas Aidoo. Jonas Aidoo, guys, has been in the Ken Pom top 5 all season. All season. This guy, and Blake, it was you that said it earlier when we were debating. Guys, at how tall is he? He's listed at 6'11", 7 foot, whatever.
Something wingspan. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. This guy started every single game. He's playing 36 minutes against Kentucky, 31 minutes against South Carolina. Just the consistency is ridiculous. Only 3 SEC games not in double digits. Jonas Aidoo is doing a ton for this team, and it kind of gets overshadowed by Knecht and all the great things he does. But obviously, you know, if you've watched SEC basketball, you know what Reeves has done, Sheppard, Knecht, Broome, these guys. But I'm really glad we got guys like Pullin and Aidoo on this first team, because, man, they've had really good years as well, but just haven't really been in that national spotlight as much.
Yeah, I think that, again, that's why, if you want to know why we expand, like this was one of the reasons. Like, all right, Zyon Pullin feels like a first-team All-SEC guy. Is he on there if it's just 5? Probably not, because I think, to me, there was a clear 5. It was Sears, Reeves, Sheppard, Knecht, Broome. And so, yeah, I think that's just kind of how it unfolds. So, yeah, I don't have a lot again to add on this one either. I mean, it's just, this was not a hard choice for us. This was the easiest, I think, choice we had in terms of picking these top 7. So, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's about it. So, you guys let us know what you think. I know some people we talked about the Colin Murray-Boyles when I know people think we may have snubbed Rob Dillingham a little bit. Chris, I know we'll talk about him in a minute. That may be a minutes played type thing. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was. But yeah,
another minutes.
So there you go. So those are our 3 teams. Now, look, guys, that's just the 3 teams. Now this is where things start to get fun. Like when we start bringing out our individual awards, our player of the year and all that, we'll get to that in a minute. So here we go. All right. Now we're on to the all defensive team for the SEC. And this should be another one. We didn't have a lot of debate on it. So, all right, here we go. All defensive team.
Yeah, this was fairly easy. Johni Broome at Auburn, just a shot blocker extraordinaire. Jonas Aidoo of Tennessee. He and Zakai Zeigler are the two Vols on the best defensive team in the league. Zeigler just is a disruptor in the backcourt. Cam Matthews, a tremendous defender. I think he'll be on Max's bully ball team, and Reed Sheppard, who had a ton of steals, blocked shots. I mean, a shot blocking guard, not a lot, but a lot for a guard. Blocked a big one yesterday. Yeah, I think what did we get our discussion on the all defensive team over in 90 seconds among the three of us?
Yeah, I had a shout for Onyenso, but just because of how high his block rate is. But I think we got it right. I think Broome and Aidoo, two most consistent rim protectors in the league. Cam Matthews is your lockdown physicality. Whoever he's guarding is in for a rough night. Reed Sheppard, stat sheet stuffer, steals, blocks, transition, you name it. And then Zeegs. Everyone knows what Zeegs has been doing for years in this league. So yeah, first team all defense.
Yeah, I mean, I said Zeigler would have been my defensive player of the year last year, except he had to go up against Colin Castleton, who blocked a ton of shots. But Broome was a no-brainer, I think, for all of us. Again, Aidoo, we talked about what he's accomplished. Matthews, the ultimate do-it-all guy. Specifically defensively, what he can do. And yeah, Reed Sheppard. I mean, somebody said in the comments, like, Reed Sheppard's about to walk out of here maybe with more hardware than we've ever given out for a single player. And you all know who got, and he's going to get another award that you're not expecting. Max knows what I'm talking about. Reed Sheppard's going to get another award you guys are not expecting here in a minute. So, yeah. So there's your all defensive team. If you guys are good with that, again, we accept bribes if you want us to change it. All right.
I saw Zachary Davis comment. He was if he played that if he played like he did against Florida every game, he would for sure be on this list. At the top of that zone, that was ridiculous how many turnovers he forced in that second half. I like Davis also.
All right, all freshman team, also known as another award for Reed Sheppard.
the Cats North.
Kentucky, I was going to say, the Kentucky fans, this is the one you're waiting on specifically. Now, look, I'll tell you, Chris can read them in a second. I also made the push for, come on, we got to get Big Z on there somewhere, right? I mean, even if this guy only played, forget the minutes played. Like, just come on. It's a total sensation with Big Z. But, all right, Chris, read them off here.
Yeah, Reed Sheppard had terrific defensive stats as we've been over. Great offensive player. I mean, we could do a whole show on Reed Sheppard. Maybe we will one day. Rob Dillingham, another easy choice. DJ Wagner, two top 10 freshman recruits coming in, and then Reed Sheppard ended up being, in my mind, the best of them all at Kentucky. Josh Hubbard had to be on there. And I think Colin Murray-Boyles, yeah, would we like to see him on the floor more? For reasons beyond his control, yes. Does he deserve a spot on the all-freshman team? Absolutely. I think that was another one where we didn't really have a lot of problem with our decisions, guys.
No. And the thing with Kentucky's, because I know we left Justin Edwards off. I mean, this with Kentucky was kind of just like take your pick. Because of how good they've all been. But with DJ Wagner, the reason I voted Wagner was because of the difference when he's out. And look how much they struggled when they didn't have Wagner. It was rough. I mean, for a while we were tracking Kentucky's record as with Wagner and without Wagner. So I know Edwards is fantastic. But he kind of had a bit of a slower start to the year, I think. But then Hubbard, Murray-Boyles, Money in the Bank, mentioned him already multiple times tonight. And we're probably not done either.
Probably not. So, I mean, yeah, I know people are having the debate about Edwards and that, but we got to be fair. Like, Edwards did have a kind of a slow start to the year. Great player.
I mean, they were debating, was Edwards even going to play for a while, or should he even play?
He went through some rough patches this year.
Right.
So, I mean, there was a lot of good freshmen. Someone was going to get left out, you know?
I mean, again, could we have put 4 Kentucky freshmen on here? Sure. If we went for the 7-man team, they'd have 4 on here. But we had to put Hubbard. We had to put Murray-Boyles. And again, Kentucky fans, if you'd rather have Edwards, that's fine. So, these are great players. So you're not going wrong with any of these. All right.
How
We're
wait?
going to go to the
real-
Max.
Quick
Go ahead,
question,
Max.
real quick. How many of these freshmen are going to be playing in the SEC again next year?
I don't know.
I would set the line at 2.5.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's where I put. By the way, a couple things in the Silas Demery. That's one. To be honest, I'd forgotten about him. I think he did. Georgia did tail off late, and then of course we got the Edwards Wagner debate. I still think we picked the right one, but Kentucky fans, a few of them disagree, and that's fine. That's what we're.
Guess
here
what,
for.
Kentucky fans, if we're picking between two of your players, you're doing okay. You're doing just fine with talent. So again, take your pick on those two. All right, you ready for the Max Barr all-bullyball team?
Yes.
This is the one we've all been waiting for. This is the real one. All these other teams we put out there, they don't matter. This is the one that matters. So this is the one that really matters. Here we go.
Boom.
You even put the photo on there. You even got the flex on there. I knew you'd do something like that. So you're ridiculous. All right, Max, this is your floor.
We all love the 111 to 102 games. Who doesn't love those? Who doesn't? Come on. Give me a 55 to 49 game, one in the trenches, bully ball. Here we go. Spent way too much time on this. Way too much time. Everyone knows criteria. We want very low 3-point rates. And if you do shoot a 3-pointer, you better not make it. Okay? We want high foul committed rates. You're not coming in my paint. No, sir. This is bully ball. All right. And then lastly is overall intimidation factor. You walk into the gym, you line up against this guy. Oh, no. Those are the three factors. We went Cam Matthews, Tyrese Samuel. Now I know a lot of you were going to say BJ Mack. Way too many threes. The committee the committee did not like his 3-point rate whatsoever. So BJ Mack was left off. Josh Gray gets inserted. Tobe Awaka, that guy's built of cement, can't move him. And then slipped in Makai Mitchell there because, man, he's been playing like a man possessed over the last few weeks. Makai Mitchell's going to own that paint. Bully ball, I know I'm going to get pushback. Just understand the criteria. The committee does not like 3-pointers.
Blake, you know what I'm thinking? I'm
What?
thinking that if Max had been with us last year, Kamani Johnson might be his all-time favorite player. I mean, that would have been right up this man's alley.
There's somebody else, too, that might have been on the all-bully-ball team, but let you guys decide on who that was. He was definitely a bully on the floor. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, this is a great team. This is a team. Again, you're going to war with this team right here. Like, you're taking this team, and you're going to out physical everybody you play. And we talk about physicality and the importance of that. Yeah. So
Brett nailed it in the chat.
Yeah,
that's right. I was trying to think. That's exactly who it is.
So yeah, the physicality of this team. The problem is if you put all 5 of these guys on the floor at the same time in an SEC refereed officiated game, they're probably all fouling out within the first 10 minutes. But
that's the problem. It's an award that is not kind to the guard play. It's not.
Who's bringing the ball up?
Cam Matthews is bringing
the only option,
right?
Yeah, I think that is.
Cam Matthews is taking the ball.
Dribbling is overrated on the all-bully ball team.
If you can pass, you don't have to dribble.
That's
right?
true.
You just got to be able to pass the ball down the floor. You don't have to ever dribble. Dribble's overrated. So
the most used set on this offense is Cam Matthews gets the ball at the top of the key, rifles it at the backboard, and all 4 of them go in for the O-re.
How did we not have a Texas A&M player on bully ball?
Because now I knew this question
Max
was
has
going to
already
come.
got this ready.
I knew this was going to come. If Wildens Levesque played a little bit more, he's got a nice
here we
frame
go.
on him, 250. Maybe Henry Coleman, 240. But listen, Solo Washington, I love him. Anderson Garcia, love him. But they're flirting with the 190s. You can't be on the all-bullyball team if your weight starts with a 1. That's it.
Well, there you have it. Look at that. Those teams right there. All right, so those were our teams. Let's get to the individual awards, okay? We'll start with the ones you're here for, okay? We'll get those out of the way, and then we'll have fun with our own specialty awards. Max and I have got a couple of these cooked up that we'll get to here in a second. All right. Can we just get the easiest one out of the way first? South Carolina fans, you're here. Let's just get the Coach of the Year out of the way. Father Lamont Paris, thank you for all that you've done for us this season. I don't know why you two are clapping. You've been picking against them for weeks now. Your favorite son right here has been picking you time and time again on the road. I have believed in you. Speaking of believe, BLEAV, that's your promo code, Bet Online. I've continued to believe in this team, except for, when we picked them 14th in the preseason. We did not believe then. We believe now, and that's why Believe is now a sponsor. So there you go. Bob Lamont Paris, our SEC Coach of the Year. I don't have to ask you guys for your thoughts, right?
Easy. Easiest pick we made in the entire show. So it's so easy we didn't even discuss it because we all knew what we were going to answer.
There you go.
Yeah, we didn't
Then
even
on
have
to the
go
next
over
one. On to the next one. Yeah, the quarter zips. Well, what's the record this year for Lamont and the quarter zip? Got to be incredible.
Superpowers.
Superpower. He's got to wear that every tournament game, right? Okay, on to the Defensive Player of the Year. Max? Chris? Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
This one was tough for me. I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be easy. I really had to break it down. I had a few options I liked for this one, but I'm going Johni Broome, Defensive Player of the Year. You can look at stats with a bunch of guys in the SEC. On Yenso's block rate is going to be top in the nation. Steal rates for different guys, Zeigler, Sheppard, Cam Matthews. The numbers look great on a lot of guys, Broome included. But one thing Broome does is he just completely changes the game by himself. I don't know how many times I heard the broadcast on different Auburn games this year and just saying how it wouldn't be a Broome block, but he would alter it in some way. And then they'd go into that cliche like, well, he alters the shots so many times. They talk about that. Broome just does a lot that doesn't show up on the stat sheet as well. And a lot also just all around solid.
Well, Johni Broome does do a lot of things that show up on the stat sheet. For instance, he had the highest box plus minus rating in the league this year.
BPM.
Which had a lot to do with defense. I'm looking for his defensive rating, and I cannot find it. Best I got, defensive win shares 2.1. I'm gonna see if anybody in the league was close to him, and I don't think they were. Yeah, he was first in the league in defensive win shares. Look, that's not why I picked him. I watched him. I watched how he controlled the games underneath. He is also my Defensive Player of the Year.
Nice.
You ready for this? I've been waiting the entire season for this quote right here. Bring out the brooms.
Oh.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
Clean.
Johni Broome, Defensive Player of the Year in the SEC. Our choices. All right, on to the next one. Before we get there, guys, quick shout out to our new Substack, which if you watched the reaction show last night, I'm putting the link in the comments here. You guys may have to copy and paste it. I don't know if you can directly link. What do you click on it? Whatever. Do us a favor. Click on that Substack link. Copy and paste it into your browser. Join that. We're going to give you guys some kind of written stuff throughout the tournament. Mack's going to be sending out his betting picks, all this other kind of information. If you enjoy what we do here, this is going to be a great sort of complimentary thing we do for you guys each week over at Substack. So you'll get this in written form too. We'll send it straight to your inbox. We won't pester you with a mail. It's just kind of a website. If you know how it works. If not, put your email in there. And, give us a follow on Substack. We've already got people. We got dozens of people already subscribing to the Substack just from last night. We got people pledging money. We appreciate you guys. You're already giving us money. We don't even have a subscription tier. You're just donating to the Substack. So do that. That's be huge for us if you could do that. We'll keep pushing that over the next couple of weeks. Also, quickly, shout out to Colton here.
Thank you.
Thank you for the kind words. We really appreciate it. We'll get to your super chats in a bit. Get those super chats in now because we're going to get to those after we finish up our awards here. So send the super chats. We've got a couple starred already, which we'll get to here after we finish our picks. So, all right. We've done what's up? What am I forgetting, Max? I know we have to player of the year, but we're saving that for last. What else have we not?
Have we done
Freshman
all
of the year.
underrated?
Freshman of the year. We haven't done that, right?
Oh, freshman.
Freshman of the year. Are we going to do another clean sweep on this one?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Well, Max is like, I already know who Chris is going to say, so we know her.
Yeah, I know who Chris is, and I know who mine is. So,
Reed Sheppard.
Get
this guy.
Reed Sheppard.
You have to weight room after this because he's got to carry all these trophies. He's getting so many, man. So, Reed
there
Sheppard.
Was a few, I was thinking Murray Boyles in there as well, just because of how he came on strong at the end, but you could not deny Reed Sheppard. Could not deny him. Had to be him. Had to.
No. All right. On to the next. What do you
we
got,
didn't
Max?
do our all underrated team, did we? Do we have to circle back to that after this?
We'll circle back to that at the
All
end. Right. Player of the year. Let's just get to it.
Is this going to be another sweep?
I will start.
Uh-oh. He's going to do it, isn't he?
What are you doing?
He's going to pick Reed Sheppard.
I think it's not Reed Sheppard. I think
upset.
I know that Dalton Knecht is going to be everybody's pick. I won't bore you with the stats, although I guess if people want to know, I can elaborate. I think to me, it is more of a three-player race than people perceive. Minute for minute, statistically, a lot of numbers say Johni Broome was the best player in the league this year. He also played fewer minutes. Now, some of that was because of the depth of his team. Some of that's just because big men play fewer minutes. Mark Sears, what was it? Which list was it that Mark Sears got left off this year?
The point guard.
Was it the Kuzi Award? I don't know who was voting on that, but my goodness, I cannot imagine there were 10 point guards in the league better than. Look at some of these numbers. Mark Sears had a true shooting percentage of 67%. That is incredible for a guy that played 1,017 minutes this year, handled the ball. He averaged almost 25 points per 70 possessions, assist to turnover ratio of 1.7. Not great, but pretty good for the volume he came up with. Mark Sears had an incredible year. It all got, I think, a little bit undersold because of Dalton Knecht. And was in terms of efficiency and all the shooting numbers, was Knecht the best player in the league? Probably not. But he had pretty good defensive efficiency numbers. Nobody talked about that, but they gave a stat out the other night in the Auburn game of, I think, what the plus minus was when he was on defense. It was better than you would have thought. And that's because everybody talked about the shooting. And yes, was Mark Sears a more efficient shooter than was Dalton Knecht? Yes. Was Dalton Knecht just a good foul shooter instead of an elite shooter?
Chris, hold on a second.
Yes.
Guys, we have not picked the SEC Player of the Year yet. You guys are losing in the comments. Like, none of us have made picks yet for SEC Player of the Year. We're going over resumes. That's all we're doing. Everyone calm down a little bit. Please continue, Chris.
Sometimes the guy that you want is the guy that if we're picking teams and saying, I'm playing for my life tomorrow, I want this guy on my team. It's the guy that you want the ball in his hands when you've got to make a shot with everything riding on it. That guy unquestionably this year was Dalton Knecht, and that's why he's my player of the year.
No way. Oh my gosh. Did not think you were going to do that.
I did think Chris was going to
give
us some kind of curveball, but
in all seriousness, I think that the whole Dalton Knecht is hands down this player, the player in the league, got so much run that I think people shut off their brains. I don't think, in my mind, it would be a little disrespectful for those two guys not to give their case to when we're talking about this. My pick was always going to be Knecht after the way he kind of took over that Auburn game. That was the clincher for me, but I feel like those guys deserved a little bit more than a footnote in the discussion. So that's what I'm doing there.
Okay, that makes sense, because I do like the pushback against the Sears disrespect this year, because he has been all-American level. He has. But I don't know how many times I've said it this year. I feel like I'm a broken record right now. Knecht is the best player I've seen in college basketball from a shooting standpoint since Buddy Hield. I'm not talking about percentages. I'm not talking about how many shots they shoot. Watching the game, this guy runs down the floor with the ball, pulls up, bangs 3 in a row in your face. I haven't seen people do that since Buddy Hield back in 2016. Okay? Dalton Knecht does that on a game-to-game basis. Puts up 40 when he misses a bunch of shots, could have more. It's not a landslide. I'm just making my case for Knecht. I've not seen a shooter like him in a long time. Knecht player of the year.
Well. Dalton Knecht. Done. Drop the mic. It's Dalton Knecht. Period. Sorry to everyone else who thought we may pick someone else. It's Dalton Knecht. There is no player in college basketball like him. He was the best player in the SEC this season. Dalton Knecht. My choice for SEC player of the year. So, all right. Well, that was simple enough. What else do we got? How about most underrated player? This is a hard one to narrow down, but this is a non-official award. We're going to start getting to some of the non-official awards now. Most underrated player in the SEC. You guys in the comments have fun with this one. There's a lot of choices.
Yeah.
Most underrated player. Everyone's criteria will be different, by the way. Just so you know, we all have different criteria what underrated could mean. But just based on your personal definition of what underrated is, who is the most underrated player in the SEC this year?
Are we gonna give ours, or are we gonna wait for the audience to give theirs?
Yeah, we'll wait for all 700 of them.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, Chris.
I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start.
I'll start.
Max.
I'll start. And I did my criteria by picking someone that wasn't on any other team. So there's plenty of guys on our teams that are nationally underrated, but just since we watch SEC basketball nonstop, we appreciate how good they are. The guys like Jalen Williams, Talon Cooper, Aaron Estrada, for how much he does for lots of guys I could go down. So if they got an award already and recognized, I just kind of canceled them out. Doesn't mean they're not underrated. My player is a guy that did not start at the beginning of play, did not start at the beginning of conference play. An injury forced him into more action after he came off an injury, and then played so well that now he's the starter. Aidoo Thiero, most underrated player, in my opinion. I think he is the glue that holds Kentucky together, and he's a huge reason why they're playing as well as they are. Give Aidoo Thiero some credit.
I think an underrated player is a guy who has justification to make one of our first 3 All-SEC teams, yet despite the evidence, which was pretty strong, I could not get my partners to budge.
I know where he's going with this.
So I just said, screw it. I'll save it for later. Chad Baker Mazar. Let me give you some numbers that this kid had, okay? True shooting percentage, 63%. Almost 2 steals per 70 possessions, a block per 70 possessions, an assist turnover ratio just about that much under 2, 7 rebounds per 70. This guy did everything, passed out assists. Let me give you offensive and defensive ratings if I can find them. I think he had one of the better defensive ratings in the league. and also offensive. Like he did everything well.
Mhm.
And Auburn was a top 10 statistical team in the league most of the year. He was the highest win shares guy for whatever that's worth. If you like those, that didn't make one of our 3 teams. I think we undersold him. I fought for him. I could not get anywhere, and I gave up. So here is my spot to which I will honor him.
Nice.
All right. Before I give you mine, do us a favor, guys. There's 700 of you in here. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps us out. You guys delivered on the Saturday night live stream. Do that here. And also remember, leave a super chat. If you want to make sure we get to your chat here in a minute when we start going through those, the comments and everything, in just a few, leave us a super chat. Check out that Substack link we dropped earlier. Help out the channel here because we want to do this for you guys all through March. All this stuff. We're going to have so much fun doing this for the SEC tournament this upcoming week in Nashville, NCAA tournament, all that. So here's how, if you want to know how connected us 3 guys are, like our psyche, we have fun. We poke fun at each other and stuff and all that. But if you want to know kind of where our minds are at. So initially I was going to pick Chad Baker-Mazara, but now I can't possibly do it because Chris picked him. So I can't pick him as my most underrated player. So then I sent Max my all underrated team earlier, and I was going to go to Lon Cooper, but Max also made a great point, I think, about we did end up giving him a pretty high award. We have him on the second team. So I'm like, is he really underrated? Nationally, I do think he's underrated. He's not underrated by us because we talked about him a lot. So before we started this, I narrowed down the 2 guys on my all underrated team. And I'm like, okay, these would be my top 2. And really, it was just a matter of which one Chris picked. I was going to pick the other one because I didn't think we would agree necessarily on the same player. So I'm going to go with the person that was number 2 on my list. And you know who that was?
Jordan Wright.
Duke the Arrow. So, this is what I mean. This is how connected I had no idea. I had a feeling Chris was going to go Baker-Mazara. I did not necessarily know Max was going to go Duke the Arrow. So there you go. So really, it's a clean sweep here, all things considered, with these 2 guys and our most underrated player. So there you go. That was pretty
Jordan
great.
Wright did come up in our discussion too. I
had him on my all underrated.
Yeah,
team.
I mean, I think we had
out? Max?
Max, do you remember what they were?
Well, Max, we have our own individual ones. I'll give you my just quickly.
Okay.
We're not gonna spend time on these, but
too much time.
All right, Jordan Wright, Talon Cooper, which again you want to throw him in there. You can replace Talon Cooper, BJ Mack if you want. I'm fine with that too. Chad Baker-Mazara, Aidoo Thiero, Juju Murray at Ole Miss. Those are my 5.
My 5 for all underrated, it was Talon Cooper, Latrell Wrightsell, Alabama, Aidoo Thiero, Anderson Garcia for A&M. He's playing the 5 right now. Crazy. And then I talked about him a little bit before, Makai Mitchell. He's just been playing fantastic past month or so. That's my all underrated team.
I'm going to give you, of course, Baker-Mazara as my team captain for that. I'm going to go Grant Nelson. I don't think his name has come up for anything. Yes. I'm going to go Ezra Mannion, really good player on a really awful team. Jamin Brakefield, that was my midseason all underrated guy. I know Ole Miss face planted down the stretch. And I think maybe, let me think. I think Caleb Battle was really underrated.
You texted me Anderson Garcia earlier.
Yeah, that's probably it. The other guy I'm kind of kicking around is Will Baker. But I think Anderson Garcia is probably the right guy there. In fact, I'm almost sure of it. I just thank you for the reminder. I kind of forgot that one.
Yeah, I remember you texted me.
So people are talking about 6th man. Ultimately, we decided not to do the 6th man. I think the SEC will do that, but
it's kind of a dumb award.
I think it's a dumb award. I really do. Like, I mean, I guess we give Reed Sheppard another piece of hardware if you want us to. But I mean, I think in this era, I just think 6th man's kind of like, because does Reed Sheppard feel like a 6th man on Kentucky? No, he doesn't.
Well, do you what criteria do you go by?
That's why it's a stupid award. I mean, he would have started any other team.
Do you go by starts or do you go by minutes played?
I assume it's starts, right?
Starts.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of guys on the bench that start the game on the bench, but they average more minutes than a starter.
So
I don't know.
That's why I can't. I think this award's.
I'm getting a headache thinking about it.
Give it to whoever. So, give anybody. I don't care. Pick anybody you want. All right. Now, Max, we're to the specialty awards, correct?
Yeah, I've got one more set of awards, and then if we also run out of stuff, we could also circle back to the bracket and talk about the SEC tournament coming up as well if we need.
All right. So, go ahead and do whatever you're gonna do.
What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna get the ones I texted you earlier, like the specialty / silly type awards.
Go ahead. Point. You got it.
Okay. All right. Well, my first one, and we'll alternate on these if we have individual awards we want to do. My first award, I told you guys Reed Sheppard was going to take home more hardware. So, my first award in my individual specialty awards goes to the award for I Do Not Hate You. And that award goes to Reed Sheppard. Because last night on the Saturday night live stream, Chris Lee tried to convince you that I hated Reed Sheppard when all I was doing was making an argument for Antonio Reeves as a possible SEC player of the year. He tried to pit the two Kentucky players against each other. And he made you think that I didn't like Reed Sheppard. So, meanwhile, Reed Sheppard's walking out with a trophy in his arm, a trophy here. At this point, he's going to have to put a trophy up his... We won't go there. But to carry all these things, all right? Reed Sheppard, I don't hate you. That's why you get the I Don't Hate You award from me this season. Unreal, Chris.
I like it. I've got I'll save the one that we have together. I've got a Future Stars award here. I made a team of 5 freshmen that I believe will be back next year. So if a freshman is left off here, it's probably because I assumed they're gone, or just assume that so that you don't come and bash me. All right. First guy, I've got Alex Condon, Florida. One of those guys that could have been in consideration for that 6th man kind of award. Plays in that pretty much starting minute rotation there with Tyrese Samuel and Micah Hanlogton. So I got Condon looking good for the Gators. Staying with the front court, we got 2 Alabama players. Jaron Stevenson, he might go. But I really like his shooting, and if he can get a little bit more physical and up his defense a little bit, he could play that, that stretch forward role that Nate Oates likes to have. Mo Diabate. The committee at the Bully Ball watch list have an eye on Diabate for next year. And then 2 guards I like for next year. One of them is a little bit of a sneaky pick. One of them everyone knows. Obviously, Josh Hubbard. I said he's going to be a star I don't know how many times. But watch out for Mike Williams at LSU. He's got a great true shooting percentage, really shoots the 3-ball well, had a few good games with multiple threes in SEC play. I like what I'm seeing out of Williams in the LSU backcourt going forward. Those are my future stars.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, back on January the 27th, there was a basketball game, and it was ESPN's game day, and boy, did we circle this one come into the season. And it was not to be. Arkansas led Kentucky 26-24 at half, led at the under 10-minute mark, played so well, almost pulled a complete shocker at the time we gave up on Arkansas. Played so well that, in fact, yours truly last night forgot that Arkansas didn't win the game. My almost upset of the year, Kentucky 63, Arkansas 57.
So funny.
Almost upset of the year. Oh, my goodness. Almost upset. That's a great one. That's the front runner.
It was so there that I thought it had happened 6 weeks later.
Kentucky fans, if you missed that one, go back and watch the live stream Saturday night. Chris was telling us how wrong we were about the bracket, and because it was Arkansas had beaten Kentucky. So yeah,
I was looking at Ken Palm when you said that, and you were like, "Yeah, they beat Kentucky," and I'm like, "What?" Like, I'm trying to find where it says Kentucky.
Buddy, in my mind, they had beaten Kentucky, and that's really all that mattered in the moment.
Oh, goodness. By the way, quick shout out. We know we got some other super chats we'll get to in a second, but BG, $10 on the super chat. We appreciate you. I know you also asked for our SEC tournament picks. Just FYI, we're going to do those probably Monday or early Tuesday. So if you guys are waiting for it, we will give our full bracket picks, and then we will continue to do our game-by-game predictions. So we will predict the games as the tournament goes along. So you'll get our bracket picks up front, and then you'll get everything else for each game like we usually do. So, all right. What else? Let's just go ahead and get Max and I's joint award out of the way.
Yeah.
Max, how hard was this one? Our award for Mr. Big Shot in the SEC this season. How could it be anybody other than Talon Cooper? Mr. Big Shot.
Big Shot. I'll tell you what. He won that award. Tuesday night. Nice, cool January Tuesday night in Knoxville. When he hit the dagger 3 to secure South Carolina's biggest win of their whole season late in that second half against Tennessee. Mr. Big Shot, Talon Cooper. That's who I want taking the shot when the game's on the line.
That's a great point from Big Baller Brad here. We could have given that one to Reach Sheppard too, I guess, but
could have given it.
Dalton Knecht, hello. He might
I was
like
gonna say Knecht
here.
probably he'd probably be the. I mean, but this Max and I, come on, we've dubbed Talon Cooper Mr. Big Shot for a while, so he deserves the award. So yeah. All right, what else we got on the silly individual awards? Anything else we got here you guys want to throw in?
Weren't we kicking around the idea of a breakout player of the year?
Okay, breakout player. So I'm going to give you mine. And again, there are so many options because you could pick a freshman. You could pick this guy. You could pick that guy. I'm going to go and trust me, you guys I know you're already going to give me hell for it, but I'm just going to do it anyways. I realize he played on the team that was 0-18 in the SEC. However, I think if you look at what Sean East was last year versus what he was this year, and again, look, we saw the games they played without him this year, and my goodness, you want to talk about a guy at value to his team? Sean East, my breakout player, and I know it did not result in a win in SEC play. There are 5 guys on the floor. It's not just one guy, but if you look at how individual development from one season to the next, there are so many choices. We're not doing a full 7-man team here. You could have gone with a million different guys probably. But I just think because we're not going to talk about Missouri after this season, except for in the wrong reasons, I think it's okay to talk about him in a good reason because I think he had just a really, really good year. He just happened to play on a team that could not get it done. And so Sean East, my breakout player.
I would agree. I think that is one of the easiest choices I did for any award. Listen to this. In conference, okay, we know how this team was. 7th best at getting to the free throw line in the entire conference. Fouls drawn rate. 2nd best assist rate in the entire conference. 2nd best. 13th best free throw percentage. No, 10th best free throw percentage. Gets to the line often, makes all his free throws, sets up his teammates for everyone else. The guy did everything. The 2 games that Sean East missed was Texas A&M and Mississippi State. Missouri lost by 19 to A&M and lost by 24 to Mississippi State. 19 and 24 point losses in the 2 games without Sean East. That just goes to show how important he was.
I don't really have one, but I'll give you a few guys. Max's guy, Tyrell Ward, a little bit of a kind of a breakout late in the year. Vanell and Lubin did it for Vanderbilt when nobody was noticing. They were so far buried, but he had a lot of double-doubles, I feel like, in the last, 6 weeks. And I don't know if Anderson Garcia is a breakout player, but had a really, because he's been around a while, but had a really nice season. I think was a little bit under discussed. We did mention him earlier, but that's a guy that deserves a bit of a shout out.
All right, what else we got, guys? Then we'll go to the super chats to wrap up here. I think it's trying to see if there's anything else I sent you, Max, that I just forgot about. I'm sure there is, but what else we got on the quick individual silly awards or whatever other awards we want to add in here that are not official?
I'm all out of awards. I just want to emphasize, because I don't think I emphasized it. Cam Matthews is Bullyball Player of the Year. Okay. He's captain. All right. 4.8 fouls committed per 40 minutes, and he went 2 of 21 from 3 on the year. Yeah. We love that.
Max, you and I nearly committed a crime here. We name of the year. We didn't even give this guy a mention. Name of the year.
Everyone needs one.
Everybody needs a blue cane.
Oh boy.
I don't know why that got started. It just did, and it took root.
Listen, can I just say something real quick? Go ahead, Max. If you have
No,
something,
you go.
I'm
You
gonna
go.
different. All right. So, if you guys, by the way, I know a question's being asked. How many players get selected for real the first team All SEC? I think they picked 9.
Do they really?
I'm pretty sure. Did they not?
I thought it was 7.
Maybe it's 7. I don't know. It's 7 or 9. So if you thought us picking 7 was too much, listen, hey, we're just kind of on par with what everybody else is doing these days. So we'd love to be 5, but that plays into this. All right. So if you watch for the past hour, and we always say, like, you don't have to agree with us. You don't have to. We don't do this because we want everybody to agree with it. We do this because we love it. Like, we love SEC basketball. Let me just say this, okay? I don't like to always say this kind of stuff, but I want to make sure it's perfectly clear. Go find me any other show in America that just named off about 75 SEC basketball players in the last hour. If you got look, you don't have to agree with everything we say. You don't have to agree with our picks. But if you cannot tell that we don't love this stuff, like, we're nuts with how much we love this stuff. All right? So that's all I'm going to say. We don't like to, pat ourselves on the back and stuff. You guys know that's just not how we are. But, like, we may do it with predictions. I mean, come on, Max. We gotta take some of those where we can get them. But
I got one, and your Blake's still kill me.
Oh boy!
Wait, before you go, Chris.
Okay, go ahead.
Before you go, because we're gonna forget about it. We were just talking about him. Do you know what Blue Cane's real name is?
No.
Chris.
No. Nice.
Chris Kane.
Chris Kane.
No matter what you do, Blue Kane.
I never thought about calling myself Blue.
You guys in the comments, start calling Chris Blue. Bluely.
You're my boy, Blue.
Bluely.
I didn't mean to cut you off, though. I just thought that was cool.
This is going to drive. Best player that we didn't mention on any team for any award.
Oh, my God.
All night.
Oh, my gosh.
Alan
Who
Flanagan.
did we not mention? I mean.
We didn't mention Alan Flanagan, so that's the best guy on the board.
Okay. Max, you got one?
Oh, jeez. I'm probably gonna mess it up because I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now. But we mentioned, he got an award. Give me a second.
We mentioned Justin Edwards.
Yeah, I know another one.
Did we mention Josiah Jordan James at any point?
We did not. And there's a particular guy that plays for Georgia I'm thinking about.
We didn't mention
Dimmer?
Tyron Lawrence.
We didn't mention Tyron Lawrence.
And we didn't
He's
mention
from Georgia, but didn't play for Georgia.
And we didn't mention DJ Jeffrey.
Here.
Sam Walters. There we go.
Tucker's been doing this for an hour. Let's just let him have Sam Walters. Tucker's been advocating for Sam Walters for an hour. Let's give him this. So,
Jabri Abdur-Rahim is who I was thinking of.
Okay. All right.
I mean, there's a bunch out there. We could throw names out for I don't know how long.
All right. Is that it? We done with the awards?
I'm all out.
We're exhausted.
The Sam Smith Coach of the Year.
What?
The Sam Smith Coach of the Year.
We know who the Sam Smith Coach of the Year is
Sam
going
would
to be.
take.
Yeah, we know that. All right, we're gonna go back to the super chats. Tucker left one earlier for $2. It works out perfectly. So Sam Walters, SEC Player of the Year, the only right answer. We appreciate the $2, Tucker.
I'm going to think of Tucker every time Sam Walters touches the ball now.
Smart job by Tucker. Who else left this earlier? None other than Reeves.
How did I miss that?
We made sure we wouldn't miss it. So,
No.
By the way, I know some of you guys are going to hop out now that the awards are over. We're just going to wrap up with a little fun here, but do us a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Again, SEC tournament coming up. We'll have picks this week. For all that, we'll look at everything. Again, check out the link to our Substack earlier. If you didn't do that there, I'm going to drop it in the chat one more time. You might have to copy and paste it. Sign up for that. We're going to be starting doing some written stuff that'll be sent to your email inbox. You'll get all of our fun SEC basketball, baseball, football, everything. So yeah, do us a favor. Sign up for that. Really appreciate it. If you've enjoyed our coverage this year, let us know. Leave us a comment, okay? We appreciate you guys and the feedback. It always keeps us motivated. So, all right.
If you guys want to know the method behind the madness of the Blake out of left field 15+ year trends that just somehow he pulls out of the woodworks, you're going to want to be on the Substack.
Yeah. If you want betting advice, if you want what we eat for dinner, it's all going to be on the Substack. Okay? Free of charge. Unless you want to pay us, then some of you already are, and we appreciate that. So, yeah. All right. Donovan's got one here. He's going to give the Donovan Award, and we know what this is going to be. $4.99 super chat from Donovan. He's going to give the Donovan Award to Alabama. Impressive accomplishment against Kentucky, the only team I've ever seen to score near 100 and still manage to get blown out. Boy. If you guys are in here, you don't know Donovan. Donovan is someone who coined the term the dump at the hump when Auburn lost at Mississippi State. So
that was the comment of the year.
He's tremendous. Great. Tremendous. Look at this. Reese jumping back in. Tennessee, too good to be cursed. Fully. It was Chris who said it.
Did
Chris
say that.
Is the one. Kentucky fans, you are welcome. It was Chris who gave you that victory because he's the one who said it. So, Chris is he's gonna go in on somebody to win the SEC tournament.
I never bet against the Vols in a food fight. You know that.
So, I'll tell you, have you guys? We're not gonna give away the spoilers, but have you filled out your bracket yet for the SEC tournament?
I don't know.
No.
I got mine. I got my champion, and I'm confident about it. I am confident about my championship pick. So,
you're confident about it?
Oh yeah, I feel
I've
good
done
about
it
my
like 10
championship
times
pick
already, and I've switched all times.
I feel confident about my championship pick and my title game pick. Everything else, throw it out the window. Who knows? But I feel good about the two teams that are going to meet for the title on Sunday.
I'm going to have to get boots on the ground in Nashville, feel how the air is, vibes from all the teams. I'm not making my pick just yet.
All right. By the way, so people were asking earlier about when do the official SEC awards come out. It's either tomorrow or Tuesday. It used to be on the Tuesday, but I think last year they may have released it on Monday. So just keep an eye out for them. They'll come out. Or have they already come out? No, wait, no.
Reese,
I just got an email.
Reese can hold a grudge.
$1.99 super chat. Reese will never forget who said that. So there you go. No, I just got an email from the SEC. I was like, wait a minute, they just released their awards. They didn't. It was something else.
I just checked that too.
I was like, no way. So okay,
I'm checking that email right now.
I know. I'm like, wait a second. What are they? No. Okay.
Yep.
Anyways, all right, guys. This is your 5-minute warning here, and then we're gonna hop off because we got a lot to do this week. SEC tournament starts on Wednesday. We're all gonna be just running around, getting you as much content as we can possibly give you this week in Nashville. If you're coming up, let us know if you're going to be in Nashville for the tournament. Say hello. Yeah, it will always be a fun time. So, all right. Guys, got anything else to add? If not, we've gotten through all the super chats. We've got the Substack rocking and rolling with you guys jumping in on that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We appreciate you guys all season. Picks? We're going to do those.
Right now or later?
Oh, not
Chris,
now.
Chris, we want all your picks right now. Every game.
Probably make them if I had to.
No, we're going to do those. My guess is we're going to probably release that on Tuesday. That's just that way. If you get it tomorrow, it'll be kind of in advance. But my guess is Tuesday morning, expect us to release our SEC tournament full picks. But we will also do our usual game-by-game picks. So we'll have our individual game picks for the Tuesday or the Wednesday games, into Thursday, all that. So there you go. All right, Chris.
That was a lot of fun.
That
really was. We have had so much fun this season. I mean, the NCAA tournaments, there's just there's just a different vibe with basketball. I mean, football's, I know, king in league, but people just take it so seriously. I feel like with basketball, you can have a little bit more fun with it. I don't know. Maybe it's the product is great. I really cannot wait for the tournament this week. Hope to get to see and meet some of you guys who've been our audience. That would be wonderful. The basketball is going to be great. And then, my goodness, the NCAA tournament. Before I did this for a living, I used to take – I'd have 2 weeks of vacation every year, and I would take the Thursday and Friday off for the NCAA tournament, or at least a half day. I might work a half day going a little early. I mean, I was not missing those for anything, and I would do it sometimes for the SEC tournament too. That's how much I look forward to this. We are blessed enough that we can now do this full time. It's what we do, and it's
thanks to you guys. You
it
guys
still
are
is
the
much
reason.
fun. Thanks to you guys.
We're able to do
absolutely.
This. Let's call it what it is. Chris and I would not be doing this every day as long as we've done it now for a couple years. We got Max on board now. You guys are the reason that we're all here. So you can either pat yourself on the back and you say, "What have we done? Why did we allow these guys to be for this?" No, we do. We appreciate you guys. So
yeah, I mean, and we all worked our way up from the ground up. We had no media, at least I didn't, media training, media background. We loved it. It was a passion, and here we are doing this, and it is because of you guys.
Well, I did play-by-play for SUNY Cortland men's basketball. If you guys want some thriller Division III men's basketball calls, just let me know.
Hey, you know what? You know what we're gonna have to do eventually. Like, we have membership tiers too. If you want to join the It Just Means More membership tier, $3.99 a month. That is a donation tier here at Southeastern 14. It has been to this point. We're gonna start doing like some members only videos and stuff. You know what's gonna have to happen at some point. Max and I and Chris, a 3-man booth. We're gonna have to call an SEC basketball game. On the membership tier. Max is gonna be play-by-play. I'm going to be like the guy in semi-pro that's over there just reeling off every possible, talking about the Flint Tropics and all this other stuff. It's going to be tremendous. We're going to have to do that at some point. So,
real quick, you know what I find so funny? Chris, you mentioned it, is how the hardcore dedicated basketball fans, we all have our mandatory excuse to miss work or whatever it is. For the past 2 years of college, I had COVID-related symptoms for that Thursday, Friday. Can't come in. Sorry.
When I was a kid, and you couldn't, they would start the NCAA tournament while I was in high school. My dad would tell me, hey, when I was a kid, I would take a little transistor radio on and wear a sweatshirt, and I'd run an earplug up my sleeve with the wire and sit there like this and listen to the games. I actually did that in high school for the NCAA tournament one year. I think I was a junior, but
there's nothing
who was president then? Lincoln?
Go ahead, Blake.
You don't want to know.
Is it Lincoln? Was Lincoln the president then?
I think it was John Tyler.
Matt's comment is
whose grandson lives in Nashville, by the way. John Tyler's grandson lives in Nashville. That'll win you a bar bet somewhere.
There's your trivia note for tonight. You're not
I'd look it up. I'm serious.
That in any SEC basketball season awards you find on the earth. So you're welcome for that one. All right.
All righty. Fun stream.
Oh, you know what else we find this week, Blake? This is Wednesday is Max really a bot day?
Well, Max isn't a bot. We all know that.
We're gonna confirm that.
His camera tells us it's not a bot. So
listen, I thought Blake was. I thought you put Blake and Sam Walters next to each other, the same height. Same height. That's what I've had in my head this whole time.
I had to go buy lifts just so I can wear them to the tournament next week because Max thinks I'm like 6'8".
Oh, you were like
6'9",
6'8".
something like that. Me and Jonas Aidoo competing for the same minutes on the Tennessee Vols.
Way off.
Blocking the same amount of shots probably. I'm probably a better free throw shooter. But there's nothing wrong with that, you know? So
I don't know why. I just had that picture in my head from the start.
Blue Lee, Matt. Blue Lee and Mack bot. That's it.
Welcome.
So, there you go. All right.
Alrighty.
That's it. Wrap it up. We appreciate you guys. Were the Oscars better or were we better? Leave your comment.
No,
Leave your.
It had to be us.
Who won? Who won the night? Southeastern 14 or the Oscars? Who won the night? So
we will we'll be at the SEC tournament this week, sitting on press row, all three of us. So again, if you see us, give us a shout out. Leave us a thumbs up in the ratings. Tell a friend. That helps us. Hello, Stingray. I'm doing your show in the morning. And yeah. Can't wait to be there. For Max Barr, for Blake Lovell, I'm Chris Lee. We are Southeastern 14, presented by Bet Online. Good night. God bless you. We'll see you soon for basketball.